I want to talk about what happened just in the last week. Okay, and I'm calling this the summit test. It's really a test that I went through, and tests are good because they actually help you learn new things. When I sit a test and I fail, I realize what is it that I don't know. So I get to know, learn new things. And when I sit a test, I also get to know uh, what I've done right. Anyway, let me get started. Good morning, everyone. Hock Seng, Sue, Josh, thank you for coming in. Now, 2 weeks ago, I talked about small steps. Okay, small steps is the path to mastery, which is actually spending lots of time practicing on the plateau. Okay, plateau on the way to the mountain. Okay. Now, habit 2 of highly effective people is begin with the end in mind. So the end is your vision, the vision of the future. And I said that Dan Sullivan says, always make your future bigger than your past. Okay, always make your future bigger than your past. So your future is your vision. And we've been talking about 10x, so it's your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. So for me, with regard to this trip in Taiwan, it was all along I've been doing one summit climbs. Every climb, every trip is just one summit. And suddenly we are, jumping to 8 peaks in one trip. Okay, so here you see on the poster, it says 7 peaks. That was how it was advertised, but we actually did 8 peaks. Now, how do you do 8 peaks? Like eating a big elephant, you take small steps. So I want to talk about this test on the summits. As I said, it's the first time I've did multiple summits. We were put to the test, and I also learned some leadership lessons. Now, one of the 4 crucials is solid belief, and for me, my belief became more solid through experience. Okay, like my belief in the well spa magnified after my own personal experience with my plantar fasciitis being healed. Okay. So my faith was fortified. Now, what I did on this trip was I engaged the 4 crucial characteristics of leadership. Okay. Compelling desire, solid belief, effective action, and iron will. And I actually continued to develop them on the climb. Today, I want to focus on solid belief and share how my belief in the success mantra became even more solid. Now, the success mantra is success is equal to intention plus action plus grace. So what is my intention? My intention was very clear. Very early, I paid Khoo Swee Chow the full amount. I bought the air tickets, okay, and we booked the hotel. Okay, so intention was clear. What action did we take? Well, we were training, and I was training specifically with a pack because we had to carry about 5-6 kg of our own load. We were training on stairs because we would be, going up and down quite a bit. And there were long walks. The longest distance was 15 kilometers. So, we did long distance training. Then I also bought or borrowed equipment to make sure that nothing would stop us from completing the trip. Okay. So intention plus grace, plus action. But grace is the multiplier. Okay, grace is not the 10x, the 100x, the 1000x. Grace is about miracles. Okay, and it's an area. Miracles is totally in an omnipotent God's department. Okay, the all-powerful God. His miracles are just no problem at all. But this is the first time I've ever experienced grace so abundantly. Like there is a verse in the Bible in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 28. It says, far more abundantly than all that we can ask or think. And that was my experience. Now, grace is about supernatural, isn't it? So I'm going to use the letter S for supernatural. And I have 11 S's, which I'm going to share with you. Okay. So let me share my slides. Okay. Where am I? Okay, so this is this is Motivational Monday. Okay, this is my cover slide. I call it the summit test. Okay, so these are the 11 areas: safety, strength, sleep, the shit, smell, sweet chow, strangers, stretch, satisfied, stay up. I'm going to talk about each one one by one very quickly. So safety. Okay, it was the surfaces were treacherous, slippery because of the roots here you see on the left. The rocks, the steep slopes with near vertical drops on the side. You fall so climbing up is not so bad. Coming down is where it's really dangerous. You tend to slip. So I was blessed. We were all blessed. We were completely safe. This is the first trip where all of us actually wore helmets all the way. Okay. Now the second S is strength. Okay, so here I show you this picture because this is the last peak and I'm leading the peak. Now, was I sure I was going to do? No, I was not sure I was going to be able to do this. Okay, I was able to keep up with the lead guide up and down with a full backpack. And physically I found my muscles were not sore. I didn't suffer any cramps, which has been a problem for me lately. I get cramps very easy. Even on a massage table, I get a cramp. And this is the promise of God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. And that was my experience. Okay. Just incredible strength. We didn't train that hard, I thought. The next thing was, okay, in fact, Sui Chow at the end of the trip, he remarked, "Wow, you're quite fast on the trail." Okay, he didn't say "wow," but I can imagine he said that. Okay. Now the next S is sleep. Okay, the next blessing was sleep. One of the problems of these mountains is you can't sleep because they are really uncomfortable conditions. You're like a sandwich. There's 5 of us sandwiched here, and people are snoring away. Here's a tent. It's cold. It's windy. But I was able to sleep from as early as 7:30, and then so that we can get up at 4:30 a.m. to start packing and having breakfast at 5 a.m. So it's a blessing to be able to sleep. Okay. The next S is smell. Okay. Now, why do I say smell? Because we really want to carry as little gear as possible. Okay. So the type of gear you buy is really important. And here you see on day 1, I'm wearing these clothes. Okay. On day 4, I'm wearing exactly the same clothes. The trousers are the same, shirt is the same. I just put on an extra top so that I have some color because I learned from HT. HT is bright orange or bright pink. He stands out, so I wore this extra shirt. Okay, so it's a blessing to the others, I suppose, that I smell fine. But then I don't have to carry so much gear. Okay, okay. So this one shit. Okay, so shit is important, because on a mountain you tend to be dehydrated and then you cannot go to the toilet, which is a real problem. You got 4 days of stuff inside, extra weight to carry, and then if you have to go and do it in the field out there when you're walking halfway, or people got to wait for you, it's really a nuisance. But I was able to go frequently every night. Every time I pee, and I pee 3 times a night because I drink a lot of water, I will go and do my business. So I didn't have a problem on the trail despite eating quite a lot. Now I blur this photo a bit because it's disgusting. But if you really want to take a look at the photo, I'll show you the high resolution photo. Okay. Now Sui Chow. Why do I mention Sui Chow? Because we haven't been climbing with Sui Chow for a long time, and it was him that opened up climbing to people like Hui Xuan and what we call a mountain tourists. Okay, those who are not serious climbers, want to have some adventure, but want to also be tourists and enjoy ourselves. So it was Sui Chow that introduced us. And Sui Chow, Hui Xuan has known Sui Chow since working before, and I think in library board or what. And I've been climbing with Sui Chow for 10 years. I also learned to see the positive things about his leadership style. Okay, so he's got a peculiar leadership style, but he's obviously very successful. So something to learn from him. Okay, now the next blessing, which really is not in my control at all, are the strangers. So I got to know many new people. Here I list so many people new. So some people when they go trekking, they want to go only with their friends because you got to get on with people. You don't know what their habits are now, and that's important because you got someone who is a heavy snorer in your tent. I mean, you're a gone case. You got someone who's irritable all the time is not very good. But I enjoy going with strangers because you get to know new people, get to learn from them. Okay, so here's a whole bunch of them. I lined this up, all lined up here, all grouped together. But very rarely we are together because we're all operating at at different abilities, different speed. So we tend to be split up. Okay, but in the bunks we are together. And here, of course, is man's best friend. This dog we met on the truck that gave us a lift to the trailhead and back from the trail, so we don't have to walk the extra distance from the hotel to the start of the trek. Okay, now the next thing I want to say here is talk about stretch. Okay, there are some aspects of stretch I want to say here. First, we made a commitment to walk with Hui Xuan. So these are Hui Xuan and her protective, her guardian angels. Okay, and we walked with her to support her through 6 peaks. Okay, now the other stretch was, these were challenging, long uphill climbs that really tested my physical and mental strength. Okay? Especially when we had to rush to complete 7 and 8 peak with a full backpack. HT and I were wondering whether we can make it or not, but we decided we just go ahead and see what happens. And here you see the picture of us, with the New Skin flag, 3 of us. Okay, we brought a New Skin flag as well. And next S is I just say satisfied. Hui Xuan commented that I was so enthusiastic about everything. The meals, I love the dinner, I love the breakfast, I love the buns we made. I just basically love everything. And I want to play with you what Hui Xuan talked about, choices, which is why I say have what I have. Have what I have is a quality of mastery where you really enjoy, accept what you have, but you enjoy what you have. Let me play this for you.
The other thing is about choices and the things that come with what you choose. If you choose trekking, then you choose the shit, the sweat, the discomfort, the lodges, the dirt, whatever lah. If you don't like the meals, then yeah, the meals, or just 2 meals a day, no lunch. I mean, you choose the whole package. You don't just choose the beautiful, breathtaking scenery and whatever you like, and then the rest is like you complain about it. So you can see every single trekker, nobody complains. I mean, we talk about the shit, but like almost like in wonder and amazement and like amusement, right? We don't like go like, wow, shit man, it's so shitty. I mean, the only person I really like heard complaining really 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 about the shit was Deepa lah. But I mean, she's a new trekker. All season trekkers know that they chose a package. So when we choose network marketing, we choose the whole lot, the rejection, the joy, the highs, the lows. I mean, what's there to whine about, just get on with it, because there's a start and there's a finish. So I guess it's a very big lesson for me also. I mean, I really see, even like, the city slicker like Michelle, you think like, wow, this 小姑娘, every day her face white and then look so pretty here and there one. How to do this thing? Then Rati with her nail polish, everything. But no one complains, right? It's like, just get on with it. Let's see how we can make a comfortable night out of this thing, Let's see how we can enjoy the meal.
Okay, very, very good perspective about this principle of mastery, have what I have.
The other thing is...
the other blessing of grace was a wonderful stay in Taipei. We decided not to go back straight away. Sui Chao went back, caught the 1 a.m. flight. We decided to stay a day, and we had a beautiful time together in the night market. There's some of the pictures here. You look at this ice cream here. I've never seen an ice cream so long. It's like 8 peaks, 8 ice creams joined together. And then here, I must put this picture. It's another story which I will tell you about. Leadership story about how to get this black gold, which is a very precious mullet roe, and how we found it. It's like an adventure on its own. Okay, so it was a wonderful stay in Taipei. Now, the last S is what I call supplementary. So let's go one by one. Okay, the weather. Okay, so the weather forecast was not good at all. It was to be cold and it was going to be raining throughout, but you had really perfect weather, no rain. Okay? And as I say, it wasn't so cold because I only wore my trekking top, just one top from the start to the end, 6 a.m. in the morning to time to finish. So it was just perfect for me. Now, weather was put last because we will carry our weather. We will do it whatever the weather, but to have perfect weather, you have to have perfect pictures and just to be more comfortable. Why not? Okay. Now the guides. Okay. Now, why was this a blessing? It was more for Hui Xuan to share because Hui Xuan didn't have a personal guide, but she was, coming back. She actually, we were moving so fast. She had a free personal guide who was the chief guide who adopted her. Okay. And this chief guide, was the good friend of the person who was her personal guide in Sueshan in February. I mean, who would have imagined that this guy, she got a chief guide and a best friend, one of the best friends of watching her personal guide. And then the last blessing is preparation. You never know we don't even know how many peaks we're climbing, what they're like. But we were adequately prepared. And I show this boot because this is a blessing. The boot fell apart just a week before I left, which enabled me to get a new pair of boots. Okay, a new pair of boots, which was very important for this 50-kilometer journey up and down. And of course, part of the preparations for strength, for health, the long-term preparation is the supplements. These are the supplements that we packed and brought along the way. Okay, so preparation is important because in grace, there's a verse in the Proverbs. It says, "A man's steps are ordered by the Lord." We don't know where we're going, but God knows. He directs us, and so He prepares all these things. This is part of God's grace. Okay. Now, I've overrun, but this is a very important sharing which I want to actually record. I want to finish off by talking a bit about leadership, okay? Because the entire New Skin conversation from the start of LOI, when you say you want to do the business, has been about leadership, okay? And that's why the Asia Works Leadership Program is such a fundamental partner for us for personal growth. So leadership has been our talk. But I want to say now a bit about how we walk that talk. So we had a talk. Okay, how do we walk that talk? Okay, so here what Hui Xuan has to share about a few things. Okay, about teamwork, about stretch, about growth. Okay, so let's hear what she has to say about teamwork.
The other story is, I guess, very common that we always talk about is the story of teamwork. But when one practices teamwork in real life, daily life, everyday life, then teamwork on the mountain is par for the course. Like when suddenly Rati cannot keep up with the fast group and she's relegated to walk with us, we go, yeah. And we didn't take her as just another appendage, HD straight away took it upon himself to look out for her, walk with her, and everything, because I had you, and then CK was around as well, and then there was the guide, right? And so it was so obvious that he was ready to play team at any time. And one can only play team, I think, when one is in a strong position. So this is one reason why we have to be strong, so that we can help others.
So teamwork is a leadership distinction. Okay. The next thing you want to hear is what Hui Xuan has to say about stretch. Stretch is about defying odds. It's about the big, hairy, audacious goal. Okay.
The other thing is how you and HD defied the odds and the age and even, I guess, expectations or views of people, because you guys are like oldest, and for the first 2 days, you were restraining yourself to walk at my pace, so people think that you are like some old man dawdling behind, right? And HD, and lo and behold, on the summit day, third day, you guys led the pack in submitting.
And then about growth. Growth is about continuous and never-ending improvement?
I think it is also about limiting beliefs being busted, because people don't even know that you are a double hip replacement case. So if you listen to doctors, blah 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 blah, they'll tell you double hip replacement, cannot this, cannot that, cannot this, cannot that. If you listen to old age, like how Amanda talks, I'm just an old woman. Well, then HT was an old man when he climbed Kilimanjaro, when he started. But look at him, year on year on year, he's not gotten fatter, more slack, but he's gotten fitter and faster and better, and can even help me help Rati.
Okay, thank you, Hui Xuan, for these insights. So, guys, you know, we were put to the test, and we saw that what we have been practicing in the past, when you come to a non-new skin activity, it was very evident. You know, how you do anything is how you do everything. So it's very, very encouraging. Okay, so this is just the last slide. Success is equal to intention plus action plus grace. This has been a story of grace.